2 from book 1, which is also called part 1. First of all, before start talking about chapter 2, let's just remember chapter 1 and the main idea of chapter 1, just in summary. ذكرونا بchapter 1. خلينا نشوف شنو كان حتى نبلش بchapter 2. What happened in chapter 1? What's the story of Gulliver? Who's Gulliver? And
Can I?
yes, Nabet. In summary, as precise as possible. Yeah.
Okay. Gulliver, a surgeon in a ship. The ship got destroyed. He reached an island. In that island, he find a small people called the Lilliput. Each one of them is not more than 6 feet inches taller.
Yeah.
So he was asleep. They chained him. When he wake up, they give him drink and water. In that drink, there was a sleepy drink. They made them go to sleep. When he was asleep, they carried him to another place.
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, so chapter 1 was just like kind of introduction for the character, the main character, whose name is Gulliver. And from the title, Gulliver Travels, it seems that our hero will have several travels, adventures. We don't know where and when, but we will know them one by one. So for the first travel, which is to a place in which the inhabitants of this place are called Lilliputians. They are tiny people, okay? But as we mentioned that before, we have an important theme, which is physical power versus morality. This is very important theme. Although they are tiny, but it seems from the first impression that they have morality. And also, although Gulliver is a large person, giant for them, but he has morality. So let's see what happened after that. At the beginning, they scared from a giant person, and they start to shoot him. But later on, by using the body language, they understand that he is a peacemaker, not a troublemaker, so that they decide to help him. Yeah, but we don't know whether this is their real intention to help him, or they have something we don't know, something hidden inside them. We will see that. Yes. So yes, Muhammad. Let's move to chapter 2.
Yes, thank you. The guards arrested the 6 who fired arrows at Gulliver. We know from the chapter 1, 6 guards arrested Gulliver. Arrested who fired arrows the Gulliver and handed them over to Gulliver to be held accountable for them. Gulliver put 5 of them in his pockets and 1 left in his hand. So the people shocked and waiting what he will do. He just took out the knife. People thought he would kill him or eat them. He's giant for them. So thought he will kill him and eat them. But he just tied him, released him. He didn't do anything for them, and did the same thing with the others, with 5 in his buckets, released them all. The guards told the king about the goodness of Gulliver hurts. So the king ordered that they make a bed for Gulliver. They worked and installed 600 of their beds in order to be just one bed for Gulliver. He's a giant, and the Lilliput people is small. In long day, people would come from the villages to see Gulliver, the giant person. It's big event in the city of Lilliput, and this was accused for make the king confused, because the people had to stay in the field to that agriculture crops could continue to be produced, in the fields.
Yes.
Therefore, the
Yes.
king issued a law: no one can see Gulliver without a permit, and this
Permission. Yes.
permit or
Yes.
permission, they should get after paying taxes or fee for it, to see Gulliver. At that time, the king was worried about Gulliver in two respects. First, what would he do if Gulliver escaped? The second is how they care the expensive of Gulliver. He eats a lot of food for them. It's just in one day, he needs to feed him 60 cows and 40 sheep and a lot of birds and fruit. The king also decided to employ 600 people serving Gulliver and living near for house
His
Gulliver.
house. Yeah.
Yes, and employed 300 people to make just the clothes for him. That's so expensive for Lilliput people. And he employed the 6 of his advisors to teach him their language. And Gulliver learned the language of Lilliput just in 3 weeks. And while learning the language of Lilliput, the king used to visit him every day. And when Gulliver learned the language, the first thing he asked about the king to release him. The king told him, not now, wait, it would take some time, and you should be a patient and wait, not now. The king asked the guards to search him if he have weapons, guns, something like that. After searching, they found a handkerchief and letter to his wife, and comb and watch and walt, 2 guns and sword.
Yes.
And
thank you very much, Muhammad.
Thank you, Professor.
Leave them to say something. Okay, thank you very much. Very good. And it's a good summary and precise at the same time. Now, commenting on what Muhammad have just mentioned, there's an idea about Gulliver and his food, and he is trying to attack them or eating them. So why? Don't you think there is an important theme appear in this chapter, which is deception and reality? Do you think that there is a kind of deception here in this novel? You know the meaning of deception? It's the opposite of truth.
Yes, Professor, I think that.
Yeah. So there is... What about the others?
What mean deceptions?
Yeah.
What means?
Is there... I'm asking the meaning of deception. It is the opposite of a truth. But how can you clarify this idea in this novel? Is there any deception here?
Can I, Professor?
Yes, Fatma. Yes, Fatma.
I think the size of the people is deception. And the reality, there is some detail for the reality, and there is some detail for deception.
Yes.
Just like the size of these people, we can't find this thing, but there is a connect between, like we see some animals, a small animal, but they act like a human being, like ants and bees. They are so organized. We see they have a queen, and she lead everything, and they have workers, and they have a guard, and they have the same arrangement in our real life. But as a human, because these small creations, they have the same brain, just like any normal human. The difference in the size, only size. When I read the chapter for today, he said they are very smart in the math, especially when he gives the sizes for the things they use it to move him from the beach to their city and to see the empire. And he explained how they smart. This means they have. This is not the truth in the size, but other things is very true.
Yeah. Yes, very good, Fatma.
Can I?
Look, that yes, you want to comment about this? Yes.
Yes. The Imperial Majesty and Gulliver carry on a conversation as best they can after the Emperor's visit. Six Lilliputians shoot a rouse at Gulliver. Gulliver retaliates by pretending to eat the little archers and then releases them.
Yes, good. Then, thank you very much, Smile. Now, why he is not eating them? Do you think that he pretends to be good, or this is something from his inside? This is something real. They tried to kill him. They tried to shoot him, and then he pretends to eat them. Why pretend? Why not real?
Can I?
يلا نبأ. Yes, نبأ.
Okay. I think he's trying to tell them that he can hurt them, but he don't want to. He don't want to. When he don't want to do
Yes.
that, he's trying
He
to
just
tell them
want
that
to
I am
show.
power. Yeah, I am
to
with
show his
power, but
power.
I won't hurt. I am coming with peace.
Yes, good. Any other idea? Any other comments?
Can I, Professor?
Yes, Fatma.
I think, Professor, if he eat them, he will be just like a monster. We can imagine when we are eat a short person or someone have a human but with a small size. So he don't see them like animal. He saw them. I think this is my opinion, Professor. I
Because
think
he's a
he saw
human.
them. They are human, but they have a small size, so he can't eat them. That will make him a monster. And he tried to make, as Naba mentioned, he came with a peace. He tried to show them he's civilized just like them. That's why he was make a lot of it. He was focused with many details, like the human. I read when he made the empire and their decision. He said even in Europe they don't take the same decision in the same situation when they see a huge thing just like me, and that makes them have a big and smart brain. So he can't eat them. He will act just to make them scared, and because he feels powerful.
Yes, very good. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, Mohammed, you want to say something?
Yes, Professor. Yes. In the totality of the events of the novel, Gulliver used a specific event, a specific description. That's to refer to something else that's happened in their society at that time. Political events or social events for the criticism. For criticism. Just as we know that is the novel which Swift used the details as in case with any novel, but Swift here exaggerate a lot in the description. When he describes, for example, the details of king of the people of Lilliput, the king, this exaggerates to mockery of king. Maybe that's mentioned to the political man or king during that time in the real, during the 17th century.
Yes, it's a satire. It's a satire.
Yes, satire. Yes,
the whole story is satire.
It's satire for
Yeah.
something in society or political for
when
king.
we will finish book one, we will know book one is the satire for what. Every book is satire for something. So after ending this book to the end of the chapters, we will comment about the use of satire and how Swift used this satire successfully. Although he exaggerates, that's right.
Yes, many exaggerating description and many time in all the novel.
Yes, that's right. Yes, thank you, Muhammad. Thank you very much. Ali? Yes, Ali.
Hello, Professor.
Hello, Ali. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing well, thank you. About corruption, I think they didn't do that. He will not eating them because of his morality. And I think if you want to do something like that, like killing man, okay, or eating him, you will be like a monster or like a big devil, maybe. Okay,
Yes.
so he can't do that. These things need more power, and you need to change all your maybe your idea, your principles, and your customs, maybe anything that you grow up with it. So
Yes.
he will never do that, and the writer he maybe make emphasis on that. Maybe Gulliver pretend he will eating them to show them I am maybe harsh, I am harmful, but he will not. He put them maybe in his pocket to show maybe some power, some to want from them some respect. Okay.
Yes.
So I think this is the point. So he will never do that, and we will discover or maybe discover or the other things that he will do it in the future.
Yeah.
So this that all. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Thank you very
May
much.
I?
So
May I, Professor?
yes, Ibtisam. Yes.
I know. I think he was to show them. He didn't come to hurt them, even if they try to hurt his.
Yes, because he is moral.
Yes.
Yes, good. So we have the theme of physical power and morality, and this is one of the proofs. يعني من أجيب لكم سؤال عن morality versus physical power تقدرون تذكرون هذا الإيفنت كexample إنه concerning his power, as you know that he's giant for them, so he can't eat them. But what prevents him from eating the Lilliputians is that he is a moral person. He's not a monster. He's not a devil, just like what Ali have just mentioned. He's not a devil. He's a human being, and they are humans too. And it's impossible to eat them. So culture is something weak behind morality in the character of Gulliver. Concerning the idea of deception, راح يشوفون إنه هذه deception is very important theme وراح يبقى يعني with the plot of the story. إنه إيش قد ما نتطور بالبلوت راح نكتشف deception والtruth موجود. يعني Gulliver بالبداية يتعرف على inhabitants، يشوف feelings مالتهم، يشوف traditions، truth، lying in every country he visits. وبعدين يبدي يعرف هم شنو. So deception that drive plot action includes the Lilliputians secret plot. هم راح يسوون secret plot إنه إحنا راح نتفاجئ بهم. هذول الناس اللي توقعناهم they are simple people, lovely, peacemakers. لكن later on راح نشوف إنه how they decide to kill him by a certain way. And also Gulliver deceives them because he decided to escape. Okay, we will see what kind of deception لما نوصل لهذه الأحداث راح نعرف إنه what kind of deception they use. Then I think he didn't hurt them because he wanted them to trust him and let him go. This is also something right. He just wants to acquire their trust. He just wants them to feel with kind of peace, rest toward him in order to live, because he cannot live in this place. And don't you think that maybe they are planning to use him for their benefits?
Yes. Yes.
Because a person just like
with another
in war.
Yes.
Yeah, good. So you know that Gulliver, it's very easy for him to make them win the war. So they are very clever, by the way, witty people, very clever. They just want to use Gulliver in order to win the war at the end. Yes. What else? Yes.
Maybe the second point, maybe answer for the first point. When we say he want to trust of him, I think he didn't need that because he giant for them and teeny people. So maybe he can escape without trust, without any help. Yes, he can
Yes,
escape.
that's
He can
right.
escape. He can kill all these people and escape very easy. But he didn't do that
لكن شنو
because the morality.
الموراليتي؟
بس
Morality,
هو
yes.
بس هم مقيديه يعني إذا ما يثقون به شلون يفكون
No, he
وقايته.
can't escape. It's just morality. Because teeny people,
Yes.
weak people for him, he's giant and strong for him, for them. So.
Yeah, yes, that's right. And also there are certain tools inside his pockets.
Yes, guns
When they
and
discovered
sword.
them,
Yes,
yeah,
a knife,
they
a knife.
thought that is something very dangerous for them because
And just when he shoots on the air, shoot the gun on the air, the guards down on the earth. Because
فهم عبالهم
loud.
صواريخ they knew
Yes.
شيء أشياء
Yes.
اللي inside
Shocked.
his pocket.
Shocked.
Yes, they are shocked. So there are many proofs, there are many evidence about his physical power, about his strength, how he can win her, how he can escape. But again, we mentioned that he's a moral person, he's a human, and just a swift want to say that this person, the morality of humanity prevents them from doing so, okay? From eating or hurting others. Yes. Anything you want to add? شنو بعد ما ذكرنا بهذا قبل ما I want to read the summary. It's very short summary. Now let's look to the emperor. خلينا نشوف ال emperor. Now, do you think that in this scene there's a kind of ridiculous event? You know, ridiculous?
Yes, I think that, yes. Specifically when he description the king, the emperor, in many details.
Yes, very good. This is very important. When he described the emperor, don't forget that it's a political satire. عندنا political satire. فلما وصف الامperor, so it is, he used a kind of satire, which means ridicule the emperor by having describe him in such a way. Okay, so in describing the emperor of the Lilliputians, he used satire for political satire لأنه هو يمثل البوليتكس ومن وصفه سواء بطريقة ساخرة مضحكة لأنه أدى هدف ثاني راح نعرفه بعدين بالأناليسز مالت البوك كله راح نشوف شنو الأيم إنه هو ليش وصفه بهالطريقة هاي مالت الإيرون. Yes. Again, Swift makes the Lilliputians seem ridiculous by having Gulliver's compared them to dolls. Again, إنه استخدم شلون وصف Lilliputians. He compared them to dolls. By the way, إن شاء الله باكر راح نقرأ من التكست حتى نشوف الستايل. وصفهم بالدولز. You know the meaning of dolls? Dolls.
Toys. Small toys.
Toys.
Toys, yes.
So
just toys.
when he compared them to dolls, هذا هم ridiculous description. Okay, again we have the ridiculous description. The little doll-like man's turf and posture like full-sized men. صحيح هم little dolls لكن هم شنو كل الفيتشرز characteristics كأنما هم full-sized men. Even their minds, they have big minds, okay? Because of their plans, because of their country, everything, their traditions. They have big minds, but tiny bodies. Yet we cannot take them seriously. They are too tiny to be considered as majestic as they think they are. But we are not Gulliver. يعني إحنا ما نقدر يعني هسه مثلا انتو okay again there are still students أي يعني متخيلين الموقف يعني can you believe them, can you believe the description, can you believe the Lilliputians, is it something easy to believe them or just
I
you
was
are
scared from the situation.
maybe not only scared but it's out of fun إنه واحد يضحك يحسها إنه فد شيء ridiculous out of fun. So but we are not Gulliver. Gulliver is different. He takes them seriously. إحنا ما نأخذهم seriously. إحنا كريدرز منكم يحس إنه they are serious، إنه من قاعة حس إنه أوكي ما ضحك أو ما حس بالايروني أو الست موجود. فاطمة؟
نعم.
هيك حسيتيهم؟
نفس العملية، حسيت حقيقية أكثر.
حسيتهم حقيقيين.
معناه انتوا
وصفه كلش دقيق
لوجيكال.
ست. لا هو وصفه كلش دقيق للتفاصيل يعني، فمن واحد يقراها يعني يحس روحه كأنما صدق هو عايش هاي القصة.
So this is Gulliver. This is the idea of Gulliver. We as readers are not consider them to be serious. لكن some of you said yes. لكن for Gulliver he takes them seriously, especially the emperor. يعني عمل الامبرور رغم انه الامبرور شوفوا ايش قد الحجم مالته بالنسبة لجاليفر، لكن هو عمله serious. The description of the emperor, his talk with the emperor, his actions, كله serious. His features are strong and masculine, okay? And also his body well proportioned and all his motions graceful and his deportment majestic. Thing that it does is respectful detail. كل شيء يعني can be kind of respect. So which of course make the scene even more entertaining and ridiculous. Just a minute خل أسد الباب لأنه انخفضت ابني. Yes. Okay. So this is the analysis of this scene. Do you have any question? Something that you don't understand about this
Professor,
scene?
if you may, Professor. Why we are surprised? Maybe we see the ant kingdom. It's like the ant kingdom. They are tiny creatures and they are intelligent. So
yes,
maybe that.
Yes, that's right.
This is yes. So
well, good comparison.
Yes, thank you. Maybe the writer wants to show us that the similarity between the Waeli kingdoms that work hard and intelligence doesn't matter if it's small or tiny. Maybe the small kingdom or the tiny creature in the kingdom may be doing a lot of things, okay, and they are making a lot of things that we are the giants couldn't do. So this is maybe one of the point or reasons.
They are the best or better than human because they have certain roles and they are restricted by their roles. All of them follow the same roles. They follow the king. I mean the ants, the kingdom of ants. So I agree with you. What about the others? What do you think?
Can I ask something?
Yes, Nabet.
Okay. When you said that the audience don't take them seriously, but Gulliver did. I think Gulliver had a point to take them seriously. In the first chapter, when they chained him and they give him food and they give him drink, what did they put in the drink? They put sleeping drinks, sleeping liquid that made him sleep for a day. And they move him and they chained his leg. And even in this chapter, the king and his consul is discussing Gulliver's fate, and they even discuss to kill him. But the thing that prevented them from killing him is that his body is huge. They can't bury him in such a wide area. So maybe plague will separate and disease will separate in their city. So I think Gulliver has all the right to take them seriously for these points.
Because in front of him they are real, and he is witnessing their cleverness, how they are clever, they are witty.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why he considered them to be, and they treat him very humanly, and he too. Okay, and this is also Gulliver is able to convince them to consider relaxing its own physical power over him. لكن قلنا again morality prevents him. Again, we have something.
Why he do that?
Society, yes.
You might. I'm sorry.
Why he treats them? Why he treats them humanly?
Like that. Yes, and he maybe because of his nature, maybe, or because he is afraid, maybe because he is in an anonymous place. What's the reasons make him treat them like that?
Okay, we have just mentioned that because he's a human, and this is something in his nature. He is honest and he is moral because of his morality. يعني قبل شوية قالوا إنه هو لو يريد يقدر يحطمهم كلهم، والدليل إنه راح تصير وار، راح تشوفون. يمكن شفتوا الفيلم، ما أدري شفتوا أو لا.
يس
شفناه.
هاي السفن والحرب المستمرة سنين، إجا شالها هيك بإيده وخلصت، انتهى الموضوع. So هو لو يريد لا، I don't think that he is afraid. علي.
Okay. He can destroy them and run away.
Yeah.
It's easy maybe.
Maybe because it's out of curiosity. He just wants to discover this kingdom, those kind of people.
Maybe it's kind of slavery, or thing. He's like a slave. Maybe the slaves have the power, but they didn't do anything because of they maybe afraid, or they have a convince or confidence they can't. Okay, maybe release themselves. Okay, they have the confidence.
Yes, of course.
Yes, so maybe he has the same nature of the slave. Maybe because he is a human, and the human in all, okay, in any country, he has a kind of a slave there.
So do you think that there is a theme of a slave-master relationship in this novel?
Maybe because if he has a free will, maybe he will destroy his chains and run away. Maybe, but he didn't.
So
like the human, he in the countries, maybe if you have a king with bad rules, a king injustice man, okay, you didn't do anything. Like us, for example, okay, we didn't make revolution, maybe. So this kind of maybe a satire. He is like a slave, such a slave.
Yeah. Yes.
So maybe.
And you think that Gulliver is the slave? Who is the slave and who is the master?
The slave Gulliver
and the master
have a little bit. Okay, that the count or the monument in the all humans, they have already kind of slaves. One of them slave for his idea. One of them slave for the rules of the society, the customs. One of them slave for the money. Okay.
Yes.
So all of them have the idea. But Gulliver, maybe he is a slave for his maybe morality.
Yes.
But
very
we
good.
didn't know if that's right or wrong.
So this is a good question raised by Ali. Think of it. حلو، خوش سؤال، فكروا به، يعني مهم بالامتحان. إنه اكتشفنا في الثيم هو slave master relationship. slavery مو بس بالphysical power slavery، يعني ممكن تكون slavery in everything. Just like what? Yes. Okay. So who is the slave? Who is the master? What kind of slave? What kind of master will be? And with examples. Yes, Mustafa, you want to clarify this?
Yes, I think what Ali mentioned it's kind of correct. But if he didn't do the let's say the act of slaving, he will not reach the kingdom, and he will not meet the emperor. And also, he want to use the satire to comparison between the king of this the kingdom and the real king that at that period, and how he described him by his beautiful one and with a nice shape, nice body, and that the opposite of the king at that time, he was ugly and also with very bad behavior. So if he didn't do that, you cannot continue the satire at that time.
Yes, good. Don't forget the idea of satire. Swift's purpose in writing this novel is the satire. He just wants to reform, to improve society. هو أصلاً كتبها حتى تذكرون إن حكينا عن الساتire in Jonathan Swift's novel in general in his writings. إنه الساتire يستخدمه for what? For reformation. Okay? For reformation, for improvement of society. لهذا هو لازم يستخدم الساتاير حتى يحقق الريفورميشن. لازم يدخل للكينجدوم حتى يستخدم ساتاير حتى يسوي الامبروفمنت للسوسايتي. وهنا ظهر عندنا شيء جديد، يعني من خلال هذا شوف هو موضوع يجر موضوع شيء هو السوسايتي and the state. يعني شنو society and the state? It's very clear in this novel. Society, you know that Gallagher
المجتمع في هذا الوقت
يعني حالة وضعية المجتمع.
أي لحظة بس علي.
وضعية المجتمع في تلك الفترة، يعني هو راد يضرب مثل وهي الصورة يعني maybe تكون قريبة. The man is still a slave even though the tiny creature series.
Yes, good. Yes, مصطفى.
agree with Ali. نعم نفس الرأي.
Okay. So do you think that this theme is it is existed even in our nowadays slavery?
100% أكيد.
Yes, 100%. Yes, exactly.
So Swift, I think that the themes of Swift and his writing is up to date. We can use it in every generations because this theme will never be changed. راح يبقون الناس مثل ما هم عندهم هذا kind of slavery بدمهم مو حتى لو شو ما يصيرون.
I don't think so. Day by day will change.
Not all of them.
Yes. Day by day will change.
They might be changed.
Step by step.
How to change?
In many ways, step by step.
Maybe, inshallah. We hope so.
Swift used the novel, and another person used what he can to do. Yes, maybe you use that in your university, in your knowledge, in your teaching the material, and Swift used it in the novels, and other man do it in his works and what he can to do.
Yes, we hope so.
Everything. I think Ali? It will finish the slavery. It
will be finished in the future
if we have the confidence. No, if we have the confidence, we are not. What I think
this is the point.
We don't. Yes, but because everything in this life, if you may, everything in our life maybe feed this idea. Okay.
Yes.
In everything, religious or society or something in law, everything maybe feed this idea because if you want control the society, you have to put some kind of the savior, okay, in the idea. So to make that to ease to control them.
Yes.
If you may, just one thing changed in this time, in our century. During that time, the tools, it was by novels and books, But now, in this day, the tools will change. Maybe the more effect of people is programs, programs and series and movies. So if someone gives the idea by movies or program, maybe it will change.
That's those who are educated, who have the ability to watch such kind of educated movies, but those who are slaves, okay, I mean those who are spread in our nowadays society, I think they are not educated. By the way, education is not only studying in the university and such thing. Education is something else.
Many tools, Professor, many tools in our society.
Yes.
Many tools.
Yes, that's right.
I didn't agree with you.
With me?
My professor.
Yeah?
Yes,
How?
I didn't agree. Because we saw a lot of men or persons in general, they are educated, but they are slaves.
I told you just now that education is not a matter of studying in the university or reading books.
Everything, not just
look,
in
that
the college.
Yates يقول إنه education comes from the soul, from the purification of the soul. يعني إنه واحد روحه تكون يعني داخله يكون نقي، ينقي نفسه وينقي داخله. هذا الeducation إنه عندك القابلية تسمع الناس وتحترم آرائهم. مو إذا واحد جاب بطاري شخص أنت السليف مالته ما تعطي مجال حتى يوضح يعني وجهة نظره. Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe we are gathering. We are gathering in the bad idea, but we are not in the good idea. So
yes,
if someone maybe.
And this is the big problem. This is the big problem in our society.
Yes.
لما أكو شيء bad الكل يتفق عليه، لكن بالgood لا.
Why, Professor? Now we are
والله شو مدري
just in the one lecture. Now we are studying one
you
lecture.
Nailed it. You
100 students and one professor agree to teach to learn something. Now
so example. What is the why?
Now it's example for good thing. We are together to
Muhammad,
learn.
we are only 77. Not the society, not the whole society.
We are talking about society, Muhammad. The Iraqi
but not
society, the Iraqis people. Really optimistic and idealistic at the same time. Okay. Yes, ما أدري لأنه أنا هواي أخترع يعني هواي بالمئات. I feel that يعني unfortunately this theme dominates our society, especially those the young people هذول الصباحي اللي بعدهم جيل الألفينات. Unfortunately, maybe we hope that they will change their ideas. But when everyone's in life, they will keep to be slaves. Yes, that's right. That's right. Good point. We discussed طبعا كنت حابة أحكي عن موضوع society and the state, but we don't have enough time for today. Inshallah, tomorrow we will talk about a very important theme, which is society and the state. Now, do you have any question about this chapter? لا ما أدري أنت ألفينات لو لا علي ما أدري. I don't mean all of them, بس خلينا نقول most of them.
هو صحيح ست احنا شباب مفروض.
أي ما أدري إذا أنتوا ألفينات لو لا بس هذول جيل
الألفينات
خطية مساكين. Yes. Write down your names in the chat, please, if you don't have any question. Tomorrow we have chapter 3. And also we will read something from the text.
Professor, this is not all chapter 2. This is just a small part from chapter 2.
إيه طلاب يعني إحنا we are just trying to take يعني hints, keywords from each chapter. لأنه أصلاً أعتقد المساء الصباحي يعني يمكن راح ياخذون book summary of every book.
ست الصباحي عكسنا. الصباحي هسه راح ياخذون فاوستس، ماخذين جاليفر بالسمستر الأول.
هو
بالكورس الأول ماخذين جاليفر.
يدرس الصباحي غير أستاذ علاء؟
أستاذ علاء لطيف.